The basic unit of data in Gravwell is the entry. Ingesters take data from various sources, format it, tag it, and send it to the indexers in the form of Gravwell entries, which are then stored on the disk. As stored on the disk, an entry has 4 fields: the tag, the source, the timestamp, and the data, as shown here. The tag is an organizational tool. It's applied by the ingester, in this case it's netflow. The source is an IP address, it's IPv4 or IPv6, which is meant to help track which ingester generated the entry in the first place. The timestamp is the time associated with the entry. This is frequently extracted from the actual contents of the entry and is meant to be the time at which the contents of the entry were created. Finally, the data field is exactly that, data. It could take pretty much any form. In this diagram, we're showing a hex representation of a binary netflow record. If we were ingesting syslog messages, the data field would be the actual log message. If we were doing packet capture, the data field would be the binary packet itself. We can look at the fields using the table renderer in the Gravwell UI. Here we have selected the netflow tag and told table to display the columns tag, source, timestamp, and data. Note that, being netflow, the data field can't really be displayed properly because it's binary. If we were to add the netflow search module to the pipeline, we could extract things from the entry. So here I'm going to add the netflow search module, and I'm going to tell it to extract the dest and the source fields from each netflow entry. So the netflow module will look at the data field, and it's going to parse it as a netflow record. It then pulls out the dest and source, which are IP addresses, pulls those out, and attaches them to the entry. I'm going to go ahead and also tell the table renderer to display those. We'll run that, and we can see we've got source and dest coming out of the netflow renderer, or out of the netflow module. When the netflow module extracts the source and destination fields from an entry, it attaches them to the entry as enumerated values. Essentially, enumerated values are additional fields added to the entry during a query. Here's a diagram showing what that sort of looks like. We've still got the tag, source, timestamp, and data, but we've added source and dest. While the netflow module extracts from the data field and puts the results into enumerated values, many search modules actually read from the enumerated values and then do their operations. For instance, we can use the grep module to look for dest IP addresses which contain 159. We use the -e flag in order to specify that grep should look at the dest enumerated value. So I'm going to add that. I'm saying, now having extracted dest and source, the grep module should look in the dest enumerated value for the value 159. And we can see that all of these dest values have 159 in them. You can use enumerated values extracted during a query and the built-in entry fields, like tag and source and data and timestamp, in exactly the same way. So we could just as easily use grep to find timestamps which contain a particular string. So let's look at, I'm going to say timestamp, and we're going to look for 14:17.00. You can see that in some of these timestamps, so let's look for that. And you can see here that we get a much smaller set of results because this only matches a few entries, but you can see that they all contain 14:17.00. So these are kind of contrived examples, I'll admit. You are not going to frequently grep within a timestamp, and there's better ways to match against the destination IP address than using grep, but they do serve to demonstrate that things we extract during a query may be used in exactly the same fashion as things which are already part of an entry when it's on the disk. In summary, Gravwell uses these entries as its basic unit of data. Although the entries on the disk only contain 4 basic fields, tag, source, timestamp, and data, during a query, we can use search modules to extract, modify, and enrich the contents of the entry for our own needs. So thank you, and be sure to email support@gravwell.io if you have any questions or need help.